Okay guys, hi. Melody here, mama of 4 in our blended family of 6. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, a little bit more serious, and an opportunity for you to get to know me a little bit more and hopefully will be of benefit to somebody. I want to talk about homeschooling after divorce. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please take a second, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We talk all things homeschool curriculum, homeschool mom life, all that kind of stuff on this channel. Before I go any further, I just want to do a few disclaimers, notes, I don't know, a few things to consider. Number one, I'm going to be talking about some serious stuff in this video. I don't know if it'll be triggering for people, and if it is, I'm sorry. That is not my intention. I'm just sharing my experience with you. I got a divorce 5 years ago. And so I've had people ask me, and I've thought about making this video, but this is kind of a scary video for me to make. But before I continue, there's one thing that's bothering me, and that is Dad. I'm talking to you, my father. If you are watching this video, please stop. Cease, desist. The rest of this video is not for you. Just move along. You can watch next week's video. It'll be fine. But I will feel a lot more comfortable sharing in this video if I know you are not watching it with everyone else. If you're not my dad, stick around. Of course, I want to be careful about what I say because if my children do ever watch this video, I want to make sure I remain respectful to them and to their other parent in a way that they are comfortable with. But they don't usually watch my channel because they think it's boring, so I should be okay, at least for a little bit. When I was in the process of separating from my ex-husband, one of my biggest issues was how am I going to continue to homeschool? How am I going to be able to continue to provide my children a home education? I worked part-time teaching gymnastics so that my children could take gymnastics, but I didn't have any substantial income. I was completely financially dependent on my ex-husband, and that was scary for me to step out of that safety net, which I use the word safety net loosely, but that perceived safety net, and just branch out. But if you are a homeschooling mom, or maybe you're a public schooling mom and you want to homeschool, or whatever your situation is, if you are in a situation that you feel like you need to leave, there's always a way. There's always a way to do the things that are most important. I hope that you have support. I hope that you have friends and family nearby. When I left, I did not. Before I go any further, I would like you guys to take a minute when this video is over and go look at thehotline.org. This website is something that I wish I had known about a lot sooner. I actually just recently discovered this website, but we're going to talk a little bit about abuse, and not physical abuse so much as emotional abuse and the effects that can have on a person. If you feel like where you're at is not right, if you feel like something just isn't what I think it should be, you don't have to be able to articulate what that something is. But if your gut or your heart is telling you something is wrong, then I suggest at the very least that you seek more information. And thehotline.org has information about what does abuse look like. It talks about physical abuse, it talks about emotional abuse, it talks about sexual abuse, all of those different things, and what does it look like. I did not realize the extent of the abuse in my former relationship until I was out of it. I had been in this relationship for 19 years, from when I was 14 years old. I had grown up with this situation, in this relationship, and frankly helping to feed the pieces that were unhealthy by allowing it and submitting to that for so many years. And it wasn't until after I had left the situation and I was having night terrors and panic attacks anytime something would happen that was similar to the way it used to happen in my house, or in that house. It's not my house anymore. It's when I started to investigate and I started to look into, why is this bothering me so much? Why is this so upsetting? And I have been very fortunate. At this point in my life, I am remarried to my best friend, and he has helped me through a lot of this and helped me understand that certain things that I used to do, or certain things that I used to think I had to do, were not necessary. Like, I know it seems silly, but just for an example, I apologized all the time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If somebody looked at me the wrong way, I'm so sorry. As a reflex to try and not upset that other person, because I didn't want to have to deal with the aftermath of disappointing or upsetting somebody after having to deal with that for so many years. And just having somebody tell me, like, you don't have to apologize. I remember he came home from work one day and I had been reading a book, which my former spouse would get angry with me for doing. And so as soon as I heard him pulling up, I closed the book and I put the book down, and I got up and I was in the kitchen. Now keep in mind, I'd already cleaned the whole house because I was frantic about, I have to do enough. I always have to make sure everything's perfect and I have to do enough. Sorry, guys. This is a little bit harder to talk about than I thought it would be. So this is one of the reasons why it's taken me so long to do this video, not just because we've gone through this divorce and my ex is he's difficult. And so the negative interactions have not gone away in my life. They've just become more manageable. But I thought that this would be fine. But it's fine, it'll be fine. He came home from work and I had been reading a book and I felt so guilty, and I put the book away, and he came in and he was like, "Hey, how was your day? What were you doing?" Because this is the first time in my life that I hadn't had my children with me. Wow, I'm spiderwebbing big time. And so I felt really guilty about reading the book, and so I told him, like it was a confession, like I had done something wrong, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm really sorry, I was just reading. And he looked at me like, okay, were you enjoying your book? And I didn't know how to react, because just having him, he was like, you deserved to sit and read. You should sit and read. I'm glad you're reading a book. Do you like it? Like, he was supportive of it and stuff. And that was so strange to me. I didn't know what to do with that. And so abuse can take a lot of forms, and I think emotional abuse is something that people will say, oh, you're just being a whiny baby. Oh, he didn't physically hurt you, you're fine. Or she didn't physically hurt you, you're fine. But emotional abuse takes a toll. And when I left that situation to go elsewhere, I was so low, and this person had done everything they could to try and keep me trapped in that situation. And so it was really hard to pull away, because I wasn't fully aware of how abusive it was. It was just my normal, and I knew something was wrong, and I had to pull away, and he kept trying to pull me back in. And it got to the point where I was driving down the road one day, and I realized, my kids weren't in the car, but I realized that I would rather die than stay in that relationship. And of course it crossed my mind that, well, maybe that would be best for all of us, because then I won't be taking my children away from their father and like all of this stuff. But this stuff is very real. And the idea of not being able to homeschool my kids and maintain that for them, it was like just one more thing to add on to the challenge. And it broke my heart, because homeschooling has been so important to me, and I believe so important for them. And so I looked for resources online about homeschooling after divorce, and I found almost nothing at all, which is the reason why I wanted to make this video, because I wanted, if there's one person out there that is thinking about getting a divorce or is in a relationship that is unhealthy or abusive, that wants to continue homeschooling, and they think they have to give that up in order to continue, or in order to be safe, or they think that their choices are either I give up homeschooling so that I can be safe and in a good relationship, or I continue homeschooling but I have to continue in this relationship. I just want to tell you that's not true. I know that every situation is different and everybody has a different level of resources. I had none. I had no financial resources. I had no family nearby to help me. I had some friends, but they were very few and far between. And frankly, they were family friends. And so they were my husband's friends. And I didn't, A, want to put them in the middle. And B, if you've ever heard of a covert narcissist, that's somebody that everyone thinks is a really nice person, but isn't, usually to one particular target person. And I was his target, but to the world outside, he looked like a wonderful human. And I didn't think anybody would believe me, and I didn't know what to do. So anyway, I ended up leaving after, years, couple years of trying to leave. I did end up leaving, and I told myself I'm gonna homeschool them for 1 year after the divorce, and then I'm gonna have to put them in public school. I won't be able to continue after that, but I'm gonna do everything I can to homeschool for 1 year so that they have less change in their life, because I didn't want them to have their parents get a divorce, they're moving out of the house they grew up in, and we're throwing you into public school when you've been homeschooled your whole life. Like, I just felt like that was too much. And so I promised myself I'd find a way, no matter what, to just do it for 1 year. And so I did. And when that year was over, I realized that I can keep doing this. I don't have to put them in public school. I can continue to homeschool them. Now, I will take a moment here to acknowledge my privilege, because as I mentioned earlier, I'm remarried to my best friend. He is the most amazing, supportive person in the world. He's the one that makes homeschooling possible. He's the one that makes all the things that we do possible in the way that we do it. However, in this time, I have met families that homeschool their single parents. I have met families that work full time and still homeschool. Now, if you have support versus no support, you're in two very different situations, and I understand that. But there are resources out there to help you. There are other homeschooling families that are usually more than happy to work with you. Reach out to your community, reach out to your family, do what you need to do, and fight for what you think is important. Now, I spent every ounce of money that I had in court trying to keep my kids homeschooled, because while my ex-husband, while we were married, spent almost no time with our children, he told me that if I left, he had all the resources, he had all the money, he had all the support, I had nothing, and that I would never be able to make anything of myself or do anything without him. He told me that if I left, he would take my kids, even though he never took on parenting when I was there. And sure enough, He has tried his darndest to do that. But I can say to this point, he has not been successful. He does have them more now than what they've even said they're comfortable with. But I know they're safe there relatively, and I'm trying to raise them to be socially and emotionally aware so that they know the standards on what they can be, how they should be treated, what they can be treated. And I'm hoping that this video isn't in the future used against me in some way. I don't feel like I'm trying to say anything terrible. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not trying to label anybody with anything. I'm just telling my experience and my perspective on this. And I wanted the mamas to know that if you're in a bad situation, if you don't even know that it's a bad situation, if you're in a situation where you're like, something's not right, check out that website, thehotline.org. And if you find that your relationship is abusive, or maybe it's not abusive and maybe you just don't want to be there anymore, and that's okay too. You don't have to have an excuse for a divorce if that's what you need for you. You don't have to justify it to anybody. You don't have to do anything. You just have to decide what you want for you, what you want for your kids, and then you have to go for it. If you have any advice, if you yourself have been divorced and have homeschooled past that, and you have advice for other moms, please drop a comment in the box below. I know there are families out there that get a divorce and they co-parent really well, and they continue to homeschool agreeably. That's not my situation. I wish it was, but I'm just telling you, no matter what, it can be done. You deserve to be treated with kindness and respect. And if you are passionate about homeschooling your children, don't let anybody tell you that you cannot do that. If you want more information on the legalities of homeschooling, go to hslda.org. That's the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. Unfortunately, they won't help you much with domestic issues, but they're geared more towards like helping the homeschoolers if they have fights with public school situations. But they still have a lot of information that if you find yourself in court, there's so much valuable information already there, prepackaged, ready to go about homeschooling, the benefits of homeschooling, and all of that. I feel like there's something else I was going to tell you guys, but I can't think of what it was. And frankly, when I started talking about the details, I started to it's a little more challenging than I expected it to be. And I just don't want to go there right now with the whole world. Thank you for sticking around if you've stuck to the end of this video. If you have more questions about homeschooling after divorce, please reach out to me. I'm happy to chat with anybody who wants to chat about it. And know that you have people in your corner. Even if you feel like you are totally alone, there's always people there waiting to help you. Thehotline.org has people there waiting to help you. Homeschool groups and community groups are usually very supportive and are there to help you. So I think that's all I have for today. So until next time, I'll catch you later.